Good morning, family. Good morning, family. Don't forget, grow some trees, grow some food, grow something. Let's get started. All right, guys, so I've been composting for about 4 years now, and every year I'm learning more and more about the things that go on inside of compost. So one thing I'm learning this year is that, composting through the winter, it doesn't heat up like it usually does. So it allows a lot of things to actually grow in your compost that you wouldn't think. So one of the things I found today was a vine. And then I found another vine and another vine because I couldn't figure out what this vine was from. I pulled the whole thing out, and guess what? It was a sweet potato vine. So when I pulled out the sweet potato vines that I was growing as decorative plants, and I threw the stems into the compost, even though they were under all of that soil, they actually started growing under there. So the vines were growing, but they just couldn't push out any leaves because there was no sunlight. So I pulled them out, and I actually have a little tuber on the end of it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the vine, and then I'm going to plant those. And yeah, I guess it just kind of overwintered in my compost. All right, so here's the vines. I pulled them out this morning. I didn't actually have time to go ahead and pot them up. So all I did was cover them in some compost. And look at that. So I am going to go ahead and pot these guys up. I'm going to cut off the excess vines. And I've got more sweet potato plants for the summer. So since they were growing over here in the compost, that's actually what I am going to put in the container. It's just going to be straight compost, and I'm going to let them grow. I have these hanging baskets over here that I have usually hanging up over there on the arbor. So I just emptied those out, and I'm going to, let's see, get my shadow out of there. So I'm going to put them in these hanging baskets, and hopefully they'll do well this summer. Hopefully the heat won't, scorch them. And I'm just going to hang them right back over there by the arbor. All right, so all I did was scoop out just straight compost. As you can see, I'm sticking the tubers down in there. So I got 2 over there and 2 over here. And I'm just going to cover those really good and water them in well. Which is really crazy. These guys have been under this compost for at least 4 months. And look what was growing under there. So they are survivors. So I'm going to give them the chance to survive. It's pretty cool how, there's just little leaf buds all the way down. So hopefully they'll do well out in the sunlight. So all I'm going to do is probably clip it about here. I've got a nice little batch of leaf nodes, and I'm going to clip it about here. And this one, I'm going to do the same about here. These, although there's a nice tuber down there, there are no leaves on here at all. So you know what? I'm going to clip it about there and see what I get. And the rest of these vines, I'm going to go ahead and chop these guys up and put them back in the compost. And while I'm at it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw some beans in here with that. Hey, where did you come from? All right, so I think that's a pretty good length. And like I said, the rest of this is going back into the compost. And we're just gonna water this, throw some beans in there, and hang them back over there. All right, so my granddaughter decided that we are going to grow the long beans in the basket and see how they do. So I'm gonna drop a few beans in there and water in really good, and then we're going to hang it up. So these are a lot tinier than I thought they would be, but these are the Oriental Wonders. They're pretty small. All right, and these are the Chinese red noodle beans. Oh no! They're not too much different, but you can tell just a little variation in color there and a little bit bigger. All right, so I got one up. And now time for the next one. Beans are sprouting. The vines aren't doing that well, but that's no biggie. I didn't expect them to make it through to another year, but we'll see. Maybe they'll come back. It's nice and cool this morning. So we're supposed to get rain and cool temps all this week, and then we'll be back in the 80s again. So hopefully that will be good for the beans, and they'll get a good start. They'll be able to at least take off for a bit before we start getting into these high temperatures. So once again, not too sure about the sweet potato vines, but at least I'll have beans. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit comment, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.